let's go. Yeah. Alright. There we go. Anyway, so it took a while for that to update itself, but anyway. Hello guys, Tasso here, and today we're on the finale of Bastion. Yeah, it should be the finale today. I'm trying to clear as much like extra content as I can, but I'm definitely going to be finishing the game today. So anyway, last week, Zalf did some bad things, or was it the week before? We're still trying to recover from the bad things, and you know, stuff happened. I did a lot of side questing, I suppose you would say, but we're back in it today. Let's continue. Celandia's menders fix everything from rooftops to machinery.
He blew through slinger range like it was nothing.
Oh yeah, I remember what happened. How much money do I have? I have a lot of money actually. Lemaine. Foe shall induce sloth with each strike. Foe shall cause harm on physical contact. I mean, technically I should really do one of these. Army carbine, dueling pistols. Sure. Galleon mortar for a certain weapon. War machete. Alright. Let's see what we can upgrade. Bolts ricochet and contact. Bolts seek out foes.
You don't want to know what he did to that thing. But believe me, it works.
It works. 1 blitz patrol, 100% critical damage. Galleon mortar. I don't feel like I'll be doing that much, honestly. But I suppose so. Blast radius, faster reload.
That mortar's gonna leave a lasting impression.
Alright. Let's go. So I know I have the proving ground and another proving ground. I have these two. Boundless Bay proving ground. Skippers in the Ceylonian Armada learn their trade in relative safety here.
Boundless Bay used to be a weapons test and dry dock. Ain't never been this dry though.
Hold the attack button to extend the range with the Galleon mortar.
Ceylonia's armada was a glorious sight, and our ship's mortars were unstoppable. At Boundless Bay, our Navy put those mortars through a rigorous inspection. Had to use squirts to simulate explosive impact on the surface of the sea. Choosing targets with those mortars was one of the trickiest parts. Galleon skippers needed to be patient, needed to fire at just the right times. Sounds like the kid's mortar's in tip-top shape.
Something burnt, something heavy. 80 casualties or more. Actually, not that far. 78.
If you got a thing for heavy artillery, then I've got the place for you. A variety of modifications could be used to enhance the power of a mortar. If a galleon mortar couldn't squish enough squirts, it was simply replaced. Oh
no, one more.
You had to be crazy to want to swim in Boundless Bay.
There we go. Oh, I should have one more. There we go.
You could almost see the fireworks over Boundless Bay.
Bomb barrage. That wasn't so hard. That wasn't so bad.
Good thing we got to that mortar before the beasts of the wild learned how to use it.
There's some cooking. Alright, the vigil. Inflict 999 damage with a single shell. I did.
The skippers delivered us from the motherland.
Create every structure. Could you put 12 bullets in a single fold without missing? Crushing blow. Raise the number of land pieces in the required number of skill techniques. Secret skill techniques.
Can't be too careful these days.
Didn't mean to trip there. Alright, that's...
Grady Incinerator's where we sent off all our trash to be burned or be eaten by the wilds.
Let's try that now. Fireball is effective against armored foes such as lungheads and wallflowers.
Welcome to Grady Incinerator, home of the hottest wings east of Caelandia. In all seriousness, the incinerator was a dump, and it had a problem with peckers.
Fry peckers before time
Blasted things would swoop in and spread trash all around, until we started using fire. We couldn't just torch them all at once. We had to use restraint. Peckers were willing to fight tooth and nail for all that trash.
Don't need to fries. 60 peckers or more. I think I might need to go back and upgrade. I might need to upgrade the bellows to make it better. To do this
You'd almost think those peckers like getting cooked.
Attack speed, damage resistance when firing, flames cripple foes. Damage resistance when firing.
Toughest thing about using that gas can is keeping a grip on it.
Ooh, a hammer. Alright, let's try that again.
Know how we kept the city clean? We put all our trash in Grady Incinerator. Peckers that flock together were easy pickings. Wasn't any other way to teach those peckers some respect.
Oh, that was fast. I didn't realize that was the end. Thank you. I'm done. Goodbye.
Who knows why we fought so hard to defend our own trash?
Why do we defend for everything? For anything in the first place? Alright, let's... what do I have equipped? Bellow and the pike. Ring of fire. Let's try that. trackers at one plague incinerator finally got the message. The remains are now of Mount Zen now serve as a refuge for the beasts of the wild. I never really like look at this. Even the squirrels know when to quit after a while. There's no sign of them at the bay. But breakers aren't around to teach any more pointers with the bow. There's almost nothing left of the shingle, nor anything of value there. The court is on indefinite recess from here on out. The windbags will just have to keep looking for a safe haven. The range is fresh out of target and there's no new supply coming anytime soon. The pincushions infesting Clem Dauncey have all receded underground. Alright, let's go get that.
The secret to how we built Caelondia so tall and proud lies in Burstone Quarry.
Once there were many such treasures in this key source of Caelondia's wealth.
Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Caelondia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Burstone Quarry. The Ura tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow from the calamity. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Same goes for its natives, Rattletails. Why would the Ura put up with those pests? Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit.
Ow.
The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nesting in those rocks.
Whoa.
Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found that the oldest ones remember things.
Ah, shit.
But there was even more to it than that. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in.
Oh,
The
shit.
quarry ain't exactly up to safety standards no more.
Oh, well.
No wonder all those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests.
There we go. Alright. There was a weird skip there. But it should be back now. Okay. Ah!
Without those windbags, the quarry might not have its special qualities. Windbags tended to the rocks, so we had to keep the Rattletails at bay. Now, why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. Even stink eyes started taking root in here. Might be the gods told him the quarry's bad news.
Let's see. More machete.
In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen. The largest ones, you know as cores. Single core could keep the lights on in an entire city district. The smaller ones, we call them shards. The shard's got a fraction of a core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use.
Lack of music is very unsettling.
Remember how I said rattle tails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive thing
Country.
stomped many of our boys.
Shit, no!
We just couldn't get rid of him. The only thing harder than the rocks in Burstone Quarry is Sir Lunky's head. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. "Are you all right?" it says. It's him.
Zalf.
"I've come to warn you," he says.
Zalf, what are you doing here? Fractured Monument asked Zalf why he left the Bastion. What happened back there between you and Rux?
"The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back." Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. "If that's the way it is," he says, "then I won't stop you."
Okay, Zalf. Bye.
Because my countrymen will.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Zalf discovered the origins of the calamity after decoding the journal Zia got from her father.
Say what you will about Zolf,
Oh, no.
but he's a man of his word.
The Bastion.
His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though.
Oh, shit.
Zolf showed him the way here,
Completed
and
the
here they
mercy.
came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this.
Harp guitar. A memento. Zia's musical instrument. She never went anywhere without it. It seems unthinkable that she would leave it behind, unless she had no choice in the matter.
Unfortunately, they broke in, and they started digging their holes. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away at this place. We tried to stop them, but we needed help. The Hura think they got him. They're wrong.
Hello.
Our little squirt, he don't make it.
No.
Somehow, some way, he sends those Hura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zolf's plan worked.
Well, maybe I might have needed those. My poor
We'll
squirt!
find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Hura came. To get us back. For the calamity. It was Caelondia's master plan to wipe the Hura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zulf knew the whole story.
I was about the harp guitar cast aside in front of the Bastion. Where is Zia? Do you see what happened to her?
What were we to think? They must have got her. Taken her back to her rightful home. He's gotta watch his back out there. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started.
Squirt.
The arsenal's complete, in case we need protection.
Trapper snare, a sophisticated snaring kit that instantly springs open to immobilize foes in the user facility. Trappers relied on this for the hunts that didn't go as planned.
We could have a fine old cookout with that stuff. Too bad that's not the plan. The sanctuary. If we can build, we can rebuild. The country. She's all to pieces now, but still looking good.
The core contained the memory of the land from before it was undone. The city crest flows with their power.
The mercy. The windbags ain't the only beast that drew a bad lot.
The calamity was more merciful to some beasts than others. These others deserve mercy of their own. Shrine. Oh, I have a lot of money. Armed enemy carbine, dueling pistols. Something greasy. Something burnt. Sure. Pike vault, a dexterous trick in which the leader reached to the sky to crash down unsuspecting foes. Sure. Let's get that.
The service.
Yeah.
For all the men and women who serve Celandia.
Whoops. Do I have something for the scrap musket here? No, enemy carbine. Okay. Let's go upgrade weapons and then feel really bad for ourselves. Arrows can stun, arrows cause knockback. Bullets ignore armor.
That'll spice things up next time he gets in trouble.
It means
Taught him an old trick from a galleon gunner I once knew.
the last radius, more damage.
Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of those.
Sail hammer.
Now the weight of the world's behind us every swing.
Sure. Arrows cost.
Ain't that the finest breaker's bow you ever seen?
Alright. Scrap musket. Fire 2 shots at once, shots cripple foes. I think I might go with that next. Alright. Shit. I don't even remember what was I upgraded. I want the hammer. Hammer and pistols.
The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way.
Urzarenda gate shot detected. Zalf's agents must also want the final shot, knowing it is key to undoing the harm they cause. That's pretty much all I have left, right? Yeah.
Urzendra Gate used to lead down to the terminals. Now it leads up to the stars.
Alright, let's go. The Bastion symbolizes Ceylondia, which they know brought the
One
calamity
last shard.
upon
It's
them.
all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand.
Day 1 morning.
Zolf said the calamity failed, and he's right. The Ura stand as living proof of that. At the heart of the calamity was a simple idea. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. We put a lot of folks against that problem. Scientists, soldiers, spies, even me.
That makes sense.
We sought solutions far beyond the city.
Day 3 morning.
We traveled near as far as the kid's going right now. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit.
Is there a path up here? I feel like that's like... Okay. Good to know.
Then there was a breakthrough, but it didn't come from one of our people.
Something fancy.
It came from an Ura, a brilliant young scientist named Ven.
Zia's father?
Ven worked for the
They do
Mancers, the sharpest
Yeah.
knives in the city's drawer.
Knew it. Don't remember much of the story, honestly. But, you know.
With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the Ura tunnels shut in a flash. Just like that, every last Ura living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they
Day
said,
5 morning.
except as a last resort.
It's actually kind of funny. Yes, Packer.
lucky to be alive.
Something wrong.
But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own.
D6.
He sabotaged the Mancer's little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. Imagine how Ven must have felt when they finally made him pull that trigger.
D7 Dawn.
But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard.
Can it really though? Rocks? Can it really? Whoa!
Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front.
Hey, level 6.
For now, Kid had little choice but to pick up where the Calamity left off. First things first, though. There's someone we figured needed rescuing. Zia.
Escape with the final shot, knowing that
The Ura fell back,
something.
no doubt planning the next move. But we knew ours already. I'll save my thanks for when it's all over.
Yes, I've got another one. Squad. Survive an attack that would have brought defeat. Let me just check. What?
Bull brandy is thicker than paint. Makes your skin feel as tough as knife bark. The Masons.
Yeah.
We built the
They
city
built and
strong.
rebuilt the massive rippling
Now
walls.
there's only 2 of us.
As Zelondia's border spread.
The Slingers. The Wilds, will they
Push the
call them.
front, safeguarding the city while paving the way for its growth. Breakers. My poor Squirt is gone. He's sad. That's the idol spirit. Gain some health by sacking foes. No. Turns dealers 25% damage using secret skills. 5% chance to turn zealous after defeating a foe, while zealous gain plus 200 damage for 3 seconds. Nah. Sure, yeah, a nice squirt cider. More health is always good. Upgrade the forge.
bow and bellows make a strange and fearsome team.
Alright, let's continue.
There's something we had to do before going after that last shard.
Sultan's Hollow. Zia detected. The Ura launched their assault on the Bastion from this spot. Zia must be here.
Zoltan's Hollow is the Ura's border blockade. At least it used to be.
The vault to destroy the Bastion rocks accelerated work on the secret weapon.
Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. We get straight down to business. They never saw him coming.
Calamity.
He gets his hands on the care package I sent him.
Oh, firing with the plastic fucking bazooka.
It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time.
Man. Oh, there it is. Wait, what? Oh, okay.
The Ura found a way to keep the calamity from spreading through Zoltan's Hollow. Kid has to put a damper on their plans.
Got them bazooka.
They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even. Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the calamity rocks slink back into the ground. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. Those rocks are like tumors, the same kind the Ura planted in the Bastion. It's not
shit.
the time to get reckless.
You didn't notice that? You know what? I'll just keep this.
They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. Those rodents are just a bump in the road.
shit. Ah! Oh shit.
Kid's picking the whole place apart, piece by piece.
Ah, falling through that hole. There we go.
By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. Kid returns their greeting tenfold. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. They're easy targets. The Ura ain't pulling their punches.
Oh shit. Ah, crap.
Those calamity rocks must be eating that place apart from the inside. The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther.
Oh, a lot of things happen here.
Some of them are downright bewildered by what's happening. Maybe they know they've lost this. Lost to a kid. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong. Yes, our people caused the calamity, But here we are trying to fix it. Did the Ura really think we just turn around and walk away? Suppose old Zolf should have got to know us better. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns. Zolf, the Ura, they have every reason to be angry. Beyond angry. But when this is all over, it'll all be water under the bridge. There's nothing standing in his way no more. He sees the Tazzle terminals loom large on the horizon.
Quick, Charles' drawing, a memento, a crude but heartfelt illustration, is inscribed in chalk on the stone surface. Unlike most of the Ura civilization, it survived the calamity more or less intact.
Way out there on the edge of the world, that's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time.
Zia.
Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people.
Oh shit, Zia agreed to return to the Bastion. Man.
You had to see if everything Zolf wrote to you was true.
I think Kid just needs a moment here to just feel a little sad. Ask Zia about a harp guitar. Pardon me, miss. Does this belong to you?
Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you?
Shows Zia a simple drawing found far to use. The calamity took everything from the Ura, didn't it? Besides their will to fight.
They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. He's always tongue-tied, ain't he? Part of the rippling walls floated by, so I caught the kid's old knapsack.
So simple drawing found 500 years. This is one of the only traces left of the Ura
I
civilization.
don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember? No matter what he's gonna face out there, it'll burn.
The Calamity Cannon, a flake of unusual rock, unseen power of the Calamity. It whirls at the slightest touch, yet feels like bone, only heavier. Rocket cost automatic rockets will not launch automatically. Rockets cost knockback.
First step to learning the Calamity Cannon is knowing about the machinery overrides.
Try to drop speed. Let's see, reload speed or 10% damage. I think.
Good thing I didn't throw away the manual.
Alright. Move faster while attacking. Large range. Cannot move and fire. Move faster. Oh.
Seems Zia's cooking got the best of him.
Outhouse. Alright.
It's hard to sleep easy these days, what with everything that's happened.
I think this is Zalf's thingy.
Zolf. Very soon the
Yeah.
kid's gonna have to face that man again.
Who
for the
knows
last
where?
time. They met on the worst day of Zolf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away. It wasn't the first time Zolf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him. He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tazzle terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylonian missionary living there. He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zolf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. missionary passed away, Zulf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia. Zulf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people. It's all right. However, Zulf felt he could only do so much in the Tassel terminals. He needed Caelondia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zulf saw the rippling walls on the horizon. He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular. This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zulf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets. The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zulf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Ceylandian style. He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all. He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Ceylandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong.
Oh, shit.
Don't worry about it. He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down.
So, in a tree.
The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes. He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home, but when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky. That story
shit.
don't end well anyway.
No, I was so close. I was so close. God damn it. Should have healed. More faster while attacking. Black tonic capacity, automatically retaliate when injured. Yeah, I think life wine would be nice.
Live wine so rich, they say it's brought men back from the brink for one last taste. A reassuring look is all he needs. Think the gods are gonna help?
Defeat three foes with a single blast. Alright, let's just...
Once the kid gets that last shard from Zolf, it'll all be over.
Yeah, proving ground there is. This scientific guild used this place to experiment with classified inventions.
Mancer Observatory. Now there's a sneaky place, overlooking the Tassel terminals themselves. The Ura probably didn't know they were being watched from Mancer Observatory. It was the perfect spot to test something no one's meant to know about. Only trouble was, something about the place drove the windbags crazy.
Some tower defense.
Best stand well clear of that impact. If a thing like that takes getting used to, gotta point her in the right direction. Whatever gets in her way is in a world of hurt, but she ain't the fastest thing. When the windbags caused enough trouble, the Mancers conducted their most secretive research far east of the city.
Aiming is not my forte. I am very bad at aiming. Back to the Bastion. That is not getting me anywhere.
Now, who would have taught a kid to do a thing like that?
35% reload speed, yeah. Alright, let's try that instead. To avoid damaging them with the Calamity Cannon. This is not working well. Yeah, it's not working at all. Should I just try Zalf's thing again? Oh,
The Mancers, they knew everything, even if it cost them.
So surpassing skill to scrap musket. Alright, let's try this one more time.
Could use a little shut-eye, I suppose. The Calamity took everything from us. Might be it took even more from Zolf. They met on the worst day of Zolf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away. It wasn't the first time Zolf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him. He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tassel terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylonian missionary living there. He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zolf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. When the missionary passed away, Zolf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Ceylondia. Zolf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did.
Hello. Hi, Becca.
He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war.
Hope you're
He
drawing
believed the
good,
city
Becca.
had much to teach his people.
Oh god. This is a bad loadout. I really need the cannon. Crap. One shadow jutsu behind me. Oh crap, I don't know. Help!
However, Zolf felt he could only do so much in the Tassel terminals. He needed Ceylondia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zolf saw the rippling walls on the horizon.
I hope I can do this. Ah! Oh shit. Oh crap.
He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular. It's all right.
The bow was a bad choice.
This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best kept secrets.
Oh crap. Ah! Oh crap. Ah!
The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Ceylandian style.
Ah shit.
He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all.
Yeah, the building is nice. Whoa! Crap. Gucci behind me.
He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Ceylandian War Memorial,
Is it Froggle?
built like
Yes.
an Ura den.
Giant Froggle.
But something was wrong.
close.
He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down.
At least I know I can do.
The world was frozen, air thick with ash.
So close yet so far.
What
I'm
few
almost there.
faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes.
Oh shit. Oh boy.
He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home. But when he reached out to her,
last one.
she joined with all the ashes in the sky.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
That story don't end well anyway.
The bull was a bad idea. What should I use though? Scrap musket. The pike? No. I definitely need the fire bellows. The bow is a bad idea. Fang repeater? Cannot move though. Hammer. Yeah. Alright.
Got a feeling those tools ain't just for use at the old forge.
Alright, one more time.
What I wouldn't give for a good night's sleep.
One more time. Yeah, first will be spook. Yeah, first person will be kind of
Zolf had
spooky.
difficulty telling me his story. Haven't heard it. I could understand why.
Alright, Zolf.
They met on the worst day of Zolf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away.
where I want. Yep. Gotta survive.
It wasn't the first time Zolf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him.
Oh shit.
He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tazzle terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylonian missionary living there. He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him,
Safe trip
but didn't rat him out.
room, yeah?
Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zolf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. When the missionary passed away, Zolf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Ceylondia. Zolf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war.
Doesn't listen.
He believed the city
Oh,
had
well.
much to teach his people.
It's your choice to listen or not to listen, after all.
However, Zolf felt he could only do so much in the Tazzle terminals. He needed Ceylondia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zolf saw the rippling walls on the horizon.
Yeah, this build's a lot better than I had earlier. Oh shit.
He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular. This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets.
Oh shit.
The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped their hands and proposed in proper Zealandian style. He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all. Woke up alone underground inside the Ura-Celandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong.
Whoa.
He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare.
Whew.
Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down.
Okay, this is all I can do. Oh shit, no! God, I noticed. It appearing behind me. Hubris! Oh shit, no.
The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes. He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home, but when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky. It's all right.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Zolf returned to where he proposed in the Hanging Gardens. And there he stood, as if the
I did
gods
it.
would answer
I
him.
did it. Woohoo!
The kid's gonna be okay. As for that man, who knows?
Can I upgrade? Nope, I can't upgrade. I wanted to upgrade that. The motor. You know what?
That thing wasn't always meant to be a weapon, but there's no denying it now.
You got me through that, friend. Good old fire bellows. Alright. Anything else? Alright, let's end this. Congrats. Yes, thank you. Oh, there's this. Should I? Zolf detected the Tazal terminals. He bides his time within the remains of the Ura's massive underground sprawl.
The Tazal terminals, all that's left of the Ura civilization, and the last stop on his little journey.
Once you enter this area, there is no turning back. Are you ready? Alright. Let's end this. Zia fled the Bastion when the Ura attacked to learn the truth of what happened to her people.
I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be alright. Just needs to get that shard from Zolf and come on home. The calamity hit the Tazal terminals hardest of all. You know why Zolf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Taken by the calamity. Zolf must be there all alone, just waiting. You know what's funny? Well, all of us are waiting for a kid.
Shit.
Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this.
Oh, I remember this part.
There's something I want you to understand.
This part where you realize that the whole time the narration has been to Zia. It's like, oh, that narrative. Mind blown.
When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. This disease the Earth planted here will go away. What happens to Zulf will no longer matter. Zealandia will be whole again. Everything will be back to normal. Everyone will be all right.
A lot of things happen back there.
Problem is, we'll all be gone.
Zelf returned to the Tezal terminals with the shard to await the fall of the Bastion.
Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop.
Yeah.
Things will go back to the way they used to be.
Wrong, alright game, yeah.
That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. The way things were before this story. Good times, right?
Oh, God. Ooh. The ability to jump. Jump. Jump.
You'd be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. You follow me? life's little setbacks. Imagine if you could have another go at them.
So it's a time machine.
No mistakes. Anyone you've ever hurt, come
shit.
on, keep your chin up. Everything you've ever done, you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you agree? Well, I guess there's nothing more to say.
Oh.
Who am I kidding?
Jump,
Look,
jump, jump, jump,
there's something
jump,
else.
jump, jump.
A confession.
Shit. Jump, 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 jump,
How come I know so much about the Bastion?
jump, jump. Have you lived through this before, Rocks?
Well, I designed the place. But that's beside the point.
Jump, jump. Jump, jump. Oh shit. Bye. Jump, jump.
There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time.
Jump.
You can't test it.
Oh. Jump, jump, jump. Oh gosh.
So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is I don't know.
Oh, that's very helpful. Very helpful, Rux. Yes, Father Van documented his work for the Celonius Mensers, the leather-bound journal.
You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's alright. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us.
Oh, there's a switch. Jump, jump. Turning it off and turning it on again. Oh, there we go.
Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around.
Oh, let's see what hopscotch is. Can we even see what hopscotch is? No? Okay. Hey, it's the bull. Battery
The
crash.
weight of the calamity. It's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking.
Do I go back? What I'm supposed to do? I'll teach you a colossal smash. Oh, okay. Ram to Dario, yeah. They really do like their rams. Okay, where am I supposed to go? Yeah? You're not giving me directions, game. Down, I guess so.
If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair
Oh,
it,
there he is.
we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off away from here.
One strong boy, one strong kid, one would say. Alright. Bye.
Heavy, ain't it?
The auxiliary function was designed to enable a mass exodus.
You know Zolf and his
something.
countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura. All they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out. Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency, though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid.
Oh, thank you.
For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. It ain't a simple matter of pride, either.
If you did give out a fight without that, would be anticlimactic. Just be rude. Yeah, a little.
One thing's for sure. The Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home.
Oh no. Self. Choose! Oh. Move on. Abandon Zal's body and press forward the battering ram. Zal's situation is hopeless and a distraction. His plan to avenge the Era only brought more suffering. All that matters is the safe return of the shard. Take Zalf, abandon the battering ram, and pick up Zalf's body instead. Zalf is badly injured but breathing. It appears his countrymen turned on him as their situation grew desperate. He nearly destroyed the Bastion, and yet... Oh boy. I mean... He's just a sad guy, right?
I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight.
Which way was it supposed to be? Then you press the switch.
Don't you worry though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. You ain't still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
I love this song.
I set my sail, fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home.
Just stop.
I see your star, you left it burning for me.
Oh.
Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide. Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now. It reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days?
With the fate of the Bastion out of his hands, Rux passes the time by telling Zia stories. The Bastion.
Hey, kid. Get up, kid.
Too tired?
Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk.
Can't do anything now. Bring to the monument.
The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see.
The Clement turns out from the underground castle.
Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions. Hey, kid.
Ask about the Bastion restorative power. What will it feel like when the Bastion fixes everything?
You can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you.
Ask about the Bastion's evacuation mode. If you could go anywhere, would you go back or somewhere else?
Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore.
tell Rux about what happened to Zolf. He never learned the whole truth, did he?
Zolf only.
Am I connected? Yes, I am connected. Okay. So I asked about the badge, and Rux was like, no, you keep the badge. Talk about what it took to get to this point. The windbags, the beasts of the wild, the they fought so hard to stop this moment.
Don't let anything you've done get to you. You can save all those creatures here and now.
You made it.
Zia spoke. Restoration. Ask Zia about the Bastion restorative power. Do you think this is going to work? What do you think I should do?
So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes.
Evacuation. If you wanted to go anywhere, where would you go?
If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world.
Tell Zia about what happened to Zolf. His own people turned on him when his plan to destroy the Bastion failed.
Zolf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed.
Alright, Sergio. They were very brave, but there was nothing left for them but their revenge.
When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up.
Harp guitar. Talk to Zia about her harp guitar. Isn't there some moment in your life you wish you could go back to?
Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the calamity, not before.
Oh.
Ready to get this over with?
Yep, hey, we are back. My internet's is really laggy today, it seems. Restoration. Initiate the Bastion's restoration protocol. Caution. This process will restore to a previous world state and is irreversible, used only as directed. Evacuation. Initiate the Bastion's evacuation protocol. Caution. This process will cause irreparable damage to the core receptacles, disabling the restoration protocol. So go back to how things were and maybe see how it goes again, or accept what has happened and move on. Alright, I remember this part when I played it the first time. It was like really like I think the narrative spin is that you actually did restoration, and when you restarted the game, like Rux would like say something along those lines that he kind of like suspects that you did the restoration protocol. But evacuation is like the narrative end, like the nice narrative end of the story that you stop and you move on. Alright, let's do evacuation. I think that's like the main core of the story, is like knowing to move on. Because restoration would just essentially be a new game plus, and you realize that even if you go back to how things were, you're just repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Because you don't have that knowledge that you have now from making the mistakes. So when you go back, you're just making the same mistakes again. So yeah, evacuation.
Oh, mother. And here I figured you'd had enough of me by now. You could have undone the calamity itself, but instead you want to stay in a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea of carrying on with you here. We can't go back no more, but I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look in their faces when we dock this thing right on their doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate. What do you say?
That's the end. Featuring Logan Cunningham as the narrator. Woo! I'm surprised the Google actually managed to get Logan Cunningham as the whole thing. Oh, Zolf. Yeah. That's why we that middle name. Yeah. Man. I forgot how good this game actually is. Like, honestly, like I think because I've been playing Transistor so much more, and I kind of remember Bastion as something a bit more low, not really low quality. Like the gameplay is a bit more outdated, which I mean mostly it kind of is, but yeah, it's definitely still holding up much more than I thought it would be, which is really cool. Yeah. I love. But yeah, this is a good game. I enjoyed coming back to it. Coming back to this after like years of not playing it. I think several years at least. Grindy. Yeah, it's a little grindy. It's definitely a little. I think it's probably like the most grindy of their games so far. But narrative is really strong. It's probably like definitely the most like traditional game-ish. I think I would say out of the other games they had. Well, I mean minus Hades. Hades is definitely a bit more back to traditional gameplay-ish elements. But like Transistor was definitely a bit off the norm, and Pyre was definitely a way out of the norm. But yeah. Yeah, it's still definitely like you could definitely see like they were still finding their ground, and there was a lot of rough parts to it, but you know, overall it's still a really solid game. Mountain Blade from 2008. Yeah, it's kind of surprising how sometimes you just can't imagine, you know, the what's the opposite of nostalgia goggles? Like when you play some really old games, you have the nostalgia goggles on, and you're like, oh, this doesn't turn out as well as I imagined, and then now like that's the opposite, where you thought something was worse than you imagined, but it's actually a lot better. Yeah, all these can definitely be fun. I think it's definitely like oh shit, I pressed something by accident. There we go. There's definitely, I think, like a shift in, what do you say, retro games. Yeah, like in the last 2 to 3 years, maybe. I think there's like definitely a shift to like wanting more retro games back in the market, retro style games rather back in the market. Which is really cool. I've definitely gravitated towards like more the pixel style games myself as well, pixel art style games myself as well. And speaking of which, since we are here, Can I skip this? I kind of don't want to skip this. Skip the credits. Speaking of this, next week. So next week is Valentine's Day. Valentine's week, I guess you would say, because it's Valentine's Day. It's happening next week. Oh, it's ending already. Hey, the Bastion. 2011, right? Did it only come out 2011? 9 years. I guess. No, it really had it really had their 10th anniversary though. So, we're back here. Let's see where we are. Use the bedroll in the Bastion to battle the era in who knows where. I guess you have to run through the whole thing again. Yeah, definitely. Alright. Yeah, the big publishers, definitely the big publishers have all been not great. Like, the big publishers have definitely not been great in the last few years. Like, you know, Blizzard, Telltale, I don't know, BioWare. You know, they all used to be pretty good, and now it kind of just went down the shithole, more or less. But yeah, like, it's definitely been a bigger rise of indies since the big companies have definitely been sort of losing. Yeah, rip Telltale. Rip Telltale indeed. But yeah, the game development market has definitely shifted quite significantly, I think, in the last few years, especially with like the fall of the behemoths, as one would say. So that's pretty interesting, right? Now sometimes I just think it's a matter of time before things, like, there's definitely a shift, and I think the question is what that shift will lead to. But I guess that's something for another time. Anyway, I can't just play the music while that happens. So anyway, next week is Valentine's week, which means I will be playing this beautiful game, Digital, a love story. It's a free game actually. It came out like a really long time ago. I think it was like 2000. I don't quite remember. I need to double check. It's basically a free game made by, if you know Analog Ahead Story, that's the game on Steam. That's the same creator. This is sort of not really a prequel, I would say, like first version. I don't know how to explain. Like a sister game. No, sort of the same lines, but very different. But yeah, Digital Love Story. That's what I'm going to play next. Yes, it's sort of, I wouldn't call it an opposite. It's very different, the genres, I would say. I mean, to be fair, I haven't replayed Analog Ahead Story actually, but from what I know, like, the stories are similar yet different. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah. But yeah, it's actually made by the same creator. Like, this is actually the game that she made before prior to Analog Ahead Story. This is actually a game that exists on Steam. Oops, sorry. But yeah, this is what I'm going to play next. It'll be a one-off actually, so that'll be it for next week, and then the week after that, I'm actually going to play Coffee Talk. Was that what the game was called? Yes, Coffee Talk. Yeah, Analog, Digital, and Love Hate. Yeah, it was like, I think it was definitely a deliberate decision to name that game, Analog at least. But yeah. So after Digital, I'm going to be playing Coffee Talk, which is that nice shiny new game that is similar in vein to Valhalla. I've heard a lot about it. I've been asked if I'm going to play it by Red, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to play it. Because why not? And there's going to be a lot of reading as well, so I've got to prepare myself for that. Yeah, but I'll talk more about Coffee Talk next week. But yeah, so yeah, Coffee Talk on Steam. Yeah, it's like, I heard it's like very similar in vein to Valhalla, like but perhaps like a bit more lighthearted than Valhalla. It's an orc girl. Yeah, it's like full of aliens and stuff, like other non-human beings. A bit more fantasy, a bit more fantasy-ish, fantasy-esque setting compared to Valhalla, which is a lot more cyberpunk. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, that's about it. My brain is like trying to figure out if anything I'm missing, but no, I think that's about it. So anyway, thanks. Let me take out this image. There we go. Anyway, thanks guys for dropping by. Always appreciate it. It's neat to me. I don't know. I mean, you can see it for yourself, I guess, when I play it. So, which is like 2 weeks from now. So, if you need, you know, some aid to see whether if the game is for you, then you know I'll be getting the game and playing it 2 weeks from now. So, you know, that's how you can decide then. Anyway, oh god, my brain's like all over the place. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I definitely did. And you know, if you want to see what's the other ending, you can definitely just go YouTube the other ending. Yeah, sure. Just feel free to see me play and see run it for yourself, because that's always kind of the fun of some LPs. Yeah, no worries, Becca. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Always appreciate it. And yeah, I always keep babbling at the end of these. But yeah, Bastion, great game, love it, enjoyed it. It's more than I expected to actually. And yeah, thanks guys for hopping by. Thanks to the VOD viewers who watch this later, always appreciate it. Thanks you guys for coming by, appreciate it as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for Digital. I need to say it properly. Yeah, see you next week for Digital, a love story. Goodbye.